Have you heard of Anne of Cleves, the wife King Henry VIII famously called ugly? Her story is often overshadowed by the more dramatic tales of Henry's other wives, but it's one of the most fascinating and, in a way, successful of them all. Let's uncover the truth about the so-called Flanders mare. Our story begins in 1539. King Henry VIII, now in his late 40s and desperately needing a male heir, was on the hunt for his fourth wife. His choice fell on a German noblewoman, Anne of Cleves. The match was purely political, a strategic alliance against the Catholic powers of Europe. Henry, ever the romantic, sent his court painter, Hans Holbein, to paint portraits of Anne and her sister. Based on Holbein's flattering depiction, Henry agreed to the marriage. He was so eager to meet his new bride that he decided to surprise her upon her arrival in England. Dressed in disguise, Henry burst into Anne's chambers, expecting a fairy tale moment. Instead, he was met with confusion. Anne, who didn't speak English, didn't recognize the large, disguised man and simply continued what she was doing. Henry was mortified. This was not the rapturous welcome he had envisioned. His pride was wounded, and from that moment, he decided he did not like her. He complained to his ministers, famously declaring, "I like her not, I like her not." He even went as far as to say she looked like a Flanders mare. Despite his revulsion, the wedding had to go on. The political alliance was too important to break. On January 6, 1540, they were married, but the wedding night was a disaster. Henry, repulsed by his new wife, found himself unable to consummate the marriage. He publicly blamed Anne, questioning her virginity and complaining about her appearance and body odor. The truth was likely more complicated. Henry was now overweight, in constant pain from a jousting injury, and perhaps struggling with his own insecurities. But what about Anne's side of the story? She was a product of a very sheltered and conservative German court. She had received no education on the physical aspects of marriage. When her ladies-in-waiting asked her about the wedding night, her innocent replies revealed a profound lack of understanding. She reportedly said, "When he comes to bed, he kisseth me, and he taketh me by the hand, and bideth me good night, sweetheart, and in the morning kisseth me, and bideth me farewell, darling. Is not this enough?" She genuinely believed this was all that marriage entailed. It's a heartbreaking glimpse into her naivety and the impossible situation she was in. Meanwhile, Henry's eyes had already wandered. He had become infatuated with the young, vivacious teenager at court, Catherine Howard, who was one of Anne's own ladies-in-waiting. He began to openly pursue Catherine, showering her with gifts, while his marriage to Anne remained a cold, unconsummated formality. The king was determined to get out of the marriage, and he needed a reason. His counselors quickly found one, a supposed pre-contract between Anne and another European noble. It was a flimsy excuse, but it was enough. Just 6 months after the wedding, Anne was asked to consent to an annulment. Now, this was a terrifying moment for any of Henry's wives. His first wife, Catherine of Aragon, was cast aside and died in isolation. His second, Anne Boleyn, was beheaded on trumped-up charges. The threat was very, very real. Any other woman might have fought, protested, and met a grim fate. But Anne of Cleves was different. She was a survivor. Instead of resisting, Anne did something incredibly smart. She agreed. Gracefully, and without a fight, she accepted the annulment. She testified that the marriage was never consummated and agreed to her new, lesser status. Her compliance absolutely stunned Henry. He had expected a struggle, a diplomatic crisis. Instead, he got total cooperation. Relieved and genuinely grateful, Henry decided to be exceptionally generous. This is where Anne's story takes a surprising turn. She wasn't sent back to Germany in disgrace. Instead, Henry bestowed upon her the honorary title of the king's beloved sister. He gave her a massive settlement, which included several grand estates, like Richmond Palace and Hever Castle, the former home of Anne Boleyn. She was given a generous annual income, making her one of the wealthiest independent women in England. She was given precedence over every woman in the kingdom, except the king's own wife and daughters. In essence, she had won the divorce lottery. Anne settled into her new life with remarkable ease. She was finally free from the pressures of the German court and the terrifying whims of a tyrant king. She lived a life of luxurious independence for the next 17 years. She had her own household, entertained guests, and enjoyed a level of freedom unheard of for most women of her time. She also cleverly maintained good relationships with the royal family. She became a dear friend to her former stepchildren, Mary, and Elizabeth, and even developed a friendly rapport with Henry himself. They exchanged letters and New Year's gifts, and he would occasionally visit her. She had navigated a potentially deadly situation and come out on top. One of the most remarkable aspects of Anne's character was her religious flexibility. In an age of brutal religious persecution, where faith could get you killed, Anne adapted. Raised a Lutheran, she had no problem conforming to Henry's Church of England. When the Catholic Mary took the throne, Anne quietly conformed to Catholicism. This wasn't a sign of weak faith, but of a powerful instinct for survival. She understood that in Tudor England, flexibility was the key to staying alive. Sadly, Anne's peaceful life came to an end in 1557. She fell ill, likely with some form of cancer, and passed away at the age of just 41. Her will is a testament to the person she was. It showed incredible generosity. She left personal gifts and money to all of her servants, friends, and family, making sure everyone who had been loyal to her was taken care of. She was also meticulous about paying off any debts she owed. Even in death, she was kind, responsible, and thoughtful. Queen Mary I, her former stepdaughter, ordered a grand funeral for her. Anne of Cleves was buried with full royal honours in a prominent tomb at Westminster Abbey, an honour denied to most of Henry's other wives. She is the only one of Henry's wives to be buried in this prestigious location. For centuries, she was remembered simply as the ugly wife, a footnote in Henry's dramatic marital history. But in recent years, historians have rediscovered her story, seeing her not as a tragic victim, but as a clever, resilient, and kind woman who played a bad hand perfectly. But one mystery remains. For 17 years after her divorce, Anne was young, incredibly wealthy, and free. Why did she never remarry? Was it fear of losing her independence and her fortune? Was she still traumatized by her brief marriage to Henry? Or did she simply enjoy her life as a single, powerful woman? We'll likely never know for sure. But what we do know is that Anne of Cleves transformed a public humiliation into a personal triumph, securing a life of wealth, freedom, and peace in one of the most dangerous courts in European history. Her story isn't a tragedy. It's a masterclass in survival. She may have been the wife Henry rejected, but she was also the wife who survived, thrived, and ultimately won. Thank you for watching. If you found Anne's story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more hidden histories. See you next time.